Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the College Football Preview Show. Casey Kendrick along with Robert Allen, and as you see right here, the helmet is black. When the helmet is black, it means Oklahoma State lost. When we won, that's how you know whether we won the week before or not.
I don't need a helmet.
If you didn't get a chance to see the game,
how they did,
listen to the game. That's what it would be.
Yeah.
Robert, this game came out. Let's just talk about it real quickly. I mean, obviously, we came out, had a lot of negative plays early, but the defense forced them, didn't give up any real yardage on the first turnover, and guess what? They held them to 3. The next one, they held them to a 3 and out. But the offensive rhythm never happened, and eventually I think it snowballed and caught up on the defensive side.
Well, and I think you look at the other side of the field as well. I think Tech's offense finally caught up with their defense and got rolling. It was funny after the game, and I read a lot of the stuff from Lubbock, and the points, the points coming
punishment.
out. No, I mean, hey, you do what you do. You do your job, and the point that was getting made in Lubbock was, wow, look at Jet Duffy. Jet had a tremendous game, and I'm like, people, you missed the point. People in Lubbock missed, even the head coach for Texas Tech, Matt Wells, who talked to him before the game. He's a good friend. He's a guy I think is going to do a terrific job. Did a terrific job on Saturday, along with his defensive coordinator, and that's what doesn't need to get lost on anybody here. If you want to point to one area where this football game was won, point to the Texas Tech defense. I mean, point to them, because where does OSU gain the most momentum? They gain it from their offense.
Sure.
Everybody centers on what Chuba does. Everybody centers on what Spencer does. Everybody centers on what Tylen does. Everybody centers on what the offense does as a unit. And Tech knew that they needed to come out and do something to nullify Oklahoma State's offense. So what they did was they changed up. They've been a team that has been a drop, rush 3, drop 8, or rush 4, drop 7 team almost exclusively on the early downs in a series. When they get you in a third down, then they can come sometimes even with the kitchen sink. They'll come with, with zero blitz is what they'll do most of the time. They started with zero blitz. They rushed 8 on the first play from scrimmage. Now, again, it was a run play, but when you rush 8 and you do it with a gap, being gap conscious and having somebody in every gap, then it makes it a run blitz as well. And so Chuba didn't get much on the first play. Spencer, I think the second play may have been incomplete, I forget, but the third play is when Spencer fumbled the football. And they rushed 6 on that. So they were ultra aggressive. They were ultra aggressive the first couple of series, and then they backed off and started mixing it up again. But instead of mixing it up with blitzing on third down, they blitzed some on first, some on third, some on second. They mixed it up. In fact, the first interception Spencer threw, they only rushed 3. But I guarantee you, if you ask Spencer after the game, he would thought because he threw it like he was under the pressure of a blitz. So after that, you start seeing ghosts. A young quarterback might see ghosts, and Spencer is still a young quarterback. I thought he saw ghosts. You look at Broderick Washington up front. He is a bear. No one at Oklahoma State was able to handle him all day. And you look at Jordan Brooks, and Brooks, their linebacker, played the key role of the spy. Okay, spy, there's two facets to being a spy. A good spy doesn't let the guy he's spying, in this case Spencer Sanders, get any kind of big yards downfield. He didn't. But on top of that, Jordan Brooks, who is a veteran player, senior for Texas Tech, had a great feel for when, okay, I can go after him now. So it looks like a little bit like a linebacker delayed blitz. All it was is a spy deciding, you know what, time to quit spying, time to get the kill. And when he did, he took good angles that didn't allow Spencer a chance to get out of the trap. And he got back there and got in his grill and put him on the ground.
There's so many things to unpack here. You and I agree on a lot of things. We may disagree here. This one may upset the apple cart. But I want to tell you my assessment right now of Spencer Sanders. Spencer Sanders is again, he's a big, strong, athletic kid that has good speed. He is not elusive. He doesn't have the step and wiggle and get away from you speed. He didn't against McNeese State at times. I mean, he's able to slide in the pocket and make a few things happen. But in open field, when you think of him as a guy that's really athletic and shifty, he's really not. He is a straight-ahead runner with good speed. He does not avoid contact, and part of that you could say, well, he's looking for contact. Part of it is he can't get out of the way of the contact. And through all the games now that we've seen that over and over. So it's not a one-time sample. I don't think he's as elusive as I thought he was going into the season.
Okay. Do you remember the run against Texas?
Sure, absolutely.
Do you remember the run against Kansas State last
week?
But
I mean, but against Texas, the defender turns his back, following Tyler Wallace. He gets him behind at straight speed. Never had to make a move on anybody. I'm not saying he doesn't have good speed.
Against Texas, against K-State. I mean, he made people miss. He can make people miss in a big way. I mean, and I think where he's not as elusive and where you're saying,
well, 7 sacks.
Yeah, okay. Well, and I think he's being told, and I think rightfully so, because this is what Mike Gundy and Sean Gleason want. Sure, if there's no other choice and you got to take off with the ball, you got to take off with the ball. But they want him to become a quarterback that can follow through with the play.
Sure.
That can focus downfield, that doesn't run at the drop of a hat, that will get the ball downfield and make the throws. And I think he's a little bit conflicted right now in that he's feeling the pressure to do that. And then again, he was feeling the pressure of what Tech did to him early in the game and what he felt Tech was doing to him the entire game, even though they weren't.
The other thing is, and no, I agree with that. I mean, he took off a lot when he felt any kind of unease in the pocket, and he had happy feet. But we could talk about this young guy not having a lot of experience, not getting an opportunity, or just getting his opportunities. And Coach Gundy says, quarterbacks become quarterbacks at the end of game 11, game 12, game 13. But you know what? Duffy was in the same boat. The difference in this, I mean, he's a young guy. Oklahoma State had a chance to put the exact same kind of pressure on him and do the same sorts of things. The game plan against Spencer Sanders was obviously better. But the other thing was he made some throws that were good. In fact, they were really good. But he had some receivers that really bailed him out. They made some hellacious catches.
Talking about Duffy?
Texas Tech.
Yeah,
yes.
Texas Tech. Here's the other thing about Duffy, too. And I'm not trying not to take anything away from Jet Duffy. But like I said, Texas Tech's defense won the game. And what happened was, the first half, I don't remember the exact numbers. I can look them up. But I do know that Duffy, of his, 400 some odd yards passing, 190 of it came in the third quarter. At that point, even though you're coming out of halftime, at that point, the Oklahoma State defense, and I'm not making excuses, okay? After the game, Jim Knowles said, you got to finish the damn game. That's what you do on defense. But this is a defensive line that is without some key components, particularly Tyler Lacey, but they certainly missed Sione C in the middle. It was a defense that lost one of their better safeties. Colby Harville-Peel came off with a strained muscle injury in the first half, and I noticed in the locker room at halftime he had changed into street clothes. He was done. So there was some attrition, but also when you're coming out time and time again like they did in the first half, and you're dealing with sudden change situations, especially where they're on the offense is on the plus side of the field, in your end of the field, and you're having to defend, which the defense, I thought in the first half, they had one bad series, and it was a series that actually started in Tech territory where Tech had first down plays on 6 of their 7 plays on the drive. One of them, pass interference penalty on Rodarius Williams, and they ended up in the end zone. That's when Jet Duffy had to scramble and got in. Other than that, though, with all those turnovers in the first half and a shank punt by Tom Hutton, that's where I'm going to catch flack. I mean, on radio this week, that people are going to blister me because I was really touting Tom Hutton. He did flip the field once, but with a 53-yarder, but he has not boomed the ball like we saw during fall camp and spring football. But getting back to the defense, when they came out in the third quarter, they were pretty spent. Now, again, is that an excuse? No, you got to do what you got to do, but They were worn down, and Tech took advantage of it. And the offense, I think Tech's offense caught momentum fire from their defense. I really think when y'all go back to it, and yeah, the defensive coordinator at Tech is a friend of mine, but when you go back to it, I thought their plan on defense was excellent. They executed it well. They've got some superstar players. You don't think Oklahoma State would like to have Brandon Washington?
Sure.
Jordan Brooks?
Sure.
I mean, I like the Cowboy linebackers. Jordan Brooks made 19 tackles and played the heck out of the spy role. And they were depleted in the secondary. That's where you needed to attack them. But the offensive line was not able to give Spencer enough protection. That's another thing, too. I mean, Charlie Dickey, we have both sat here and bragged about Charlie Dickey, and I would still brag about Charlie Dickey and the offensive line. And they had Tevin Jenkins back this week. But Tech beat them up.
Yes,
up front,
they did.
They beat the Cowboy offensive line up front.
No doubt they did. Even though Chuba had a good day, it was a hard day.
It was a lot like the Texas game. He had to really work hard to get what he got.
Too many negative plays, too many penalties, too many things like that set the Cowboys back, forced them to punt. And Texas Tech was like a bulldog.
There were 14 tackles for losses and 7 sacks.
It's unreal.
That's a season for some teams.
Well, Robert, let's go to the first couple of series. Negative run, rush for 3 yards, fumble. The next time out, the Cowboys come down. They had Sanders was sacked. Ladarius LD lost three, and then an incomplete pass from Sanders, incomplete on the last 3 there. I mean, then you had the Tylan Wallace personal foul, which again was a tough call, but it killed the drive. I mean, Oklahoma State did nothing to help themselves out on the offensive end, and because they never got that momentum, which you were talking about, defense was put in a precarious situation all day long.
You can see what I did when I went back through the game, and on every OSU offensive play, I wrote down what did Tech rush, how many guys did they rush? 8, 6. Rush 5, rush 4, rush 3, rush 3. They were mixing it up pretty good. But after that first couple of plays, Spencer Sanders was convinced he was seeing the kitchen sink every time he snapped the ball.
Well, and again, I am not the kind of guy that gets on the offensive coordinator and says he's awful or it takes a long string of that for me to get upset. But I will say this: we never got out of that bubble screen mode. You start running bubble screen. They were reading bubble screen all night long, and at some point, what you like to do is fake it and then let somebody slip out. But it was the only way. To me, it was their way to try to get Spencer Sanders a little bit of confidence with some completions, but they just weren't working.
Well, and you ran a bunch of screen plays against a team that sees that every day in practice because they're a screen team. In fact, both teams ran screens. Their screens worked better. They hit big on a few. Here's one other thing I would say about it, and this is in the second guess mode, and fans love when you second guess an offensive coordinator. And let me say this: I like Sean Gleason. I think he's very smart, very good. But one of the things, and I mentioned this in the radio broadcast, offensive coordinators hate to hear the word max protect, but sometimes you got to give your quarterback a chance. And I thought the best place to attack Tech was on the perimeter vertically, hit a couple of big plays. Look what you did in the second half. You hit Jordan McRae on that long pass, goes for a touchdown. That was a place you could hit them, and if you'd hit them earlier with that, maybe you changed their mindset. And in order to do that, you really needed to hold some people in, max protect, and maybe only send 2 receivers out. The old man, Bill Snyder at K-State, proved this to me years ago. Sometimes, even though you hate to do it, you have to do it. And I would have considered max protect and going vertical on them early just to strike them.
Well, when you've got the talent on the outside that you can still beat them with 2 guys in route, it makes sense. Let's take a break, come back. We don't have a game to talk about. We'll talk more about this one. Look ahead.
we got one we don't want to talk about.
We're talking about the bye opponent. That's what we're talking about. Taking time out, we'll continue with the college football preview show. The McCafe is now featuring cold brew coffee and cold brew frappes. Face the day with a cold brew coffee from the McCafe with a rich cold brew coffee blended with ice for a creamy frozen drink that's colder than cold brew. or refresh with a cold creamy frappe. We start with a cold brew coffee, blended ice, and topped with whipped cream and rich chocolate drizzle for a great anytime frozen treat. McDonald's in Stillwater, Perkins, Perry, and Cushing. I'm loving it.
To all of our neighbors, friends, the people we see every day, we come to you today with no news or announcement, but to let you know what's on our hearts. Because quite simply, we feel honored. You're the reason that what we do is so much more meaningful than a job. The reason we believe in the power of investing in tomorrow. But you're also the reason we believe in the power of sharing the same neighborhoods and a loyalty that's bigger than any challenge. So this is simply thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to move forward and grow, but never lose sight of the roots that connect us. As we step boldly into a time of change and innovation, consider this our promise that every investment in our hospital is an investment in our communities. Because you're the reason we love what we do and love where we live.
From pumpkins and parades to parties and performances, October is full of orange and America's friendliest college town.
What better way to see the beautiful Oklahoma State University campus in the city of Stillwater than by running 13.1 miles on Sunday, October 6th in the Stilly Half.
500 competitors come together at the Cowboy Stampede. Watch them rope, ride, and wrestle.
As the world turns orange.
We are so excited about the Harvest Carnival, Walk Around, and the Sea of Orange Parade.
Something you and I have done for a number of years on the radio.
With Broadway shows and internationally acclaimed symphonies, the McKnight Center for the Performing Arts at Oklahoma State University is a world-class facility opening this October.
Trick or treat with the downtown merchants, enjoy the carnival games, inflatables, and the costume contest at the annual Halloween Festival. Don't miss a beat in America's friendliest college town. Check out our full listing of events at visitstillwater.org.
Kent and Barbara Houck have been saying they're a one-stop shop for many years. In 1951, the Houck Agency began insuring Oklahomans and since has expanded to insure people in 11 states across the country. The Houck Agency can find the policy that fits your needs from business health coverage, individual health, home, auto, and long-term health care policies. They have a staff that can take care of financial planning, including retirement and investing. And Barbara Houck has been a realtor for over 35 years, and her contacts helped her buy and sell homes and commercial properties across the state. One-stop shop, the Houck Agency, 801 South Main in Stillwater. Call statewide toll-free at 800-543-8588. The Houck Agency, when experience counts. Welcome back. Casey Kendrick along with Robert. Ready to talk about the bye? Now, this is a good team. They've got some good – they've got the ability. No, let me tell you, I'll go out on a limb this time. We will not, absolutely not going to lose this weekend. That I guarantee you we will not lose this week.
No, I think you're right.
We're good with that.
So can we put that in picks?
Yeah, and just give us one.
That
there,
would guarantee us a win in picks. That'd be nice.
You know, Robert,
that's a precursor to the fact picks stunk.
Yeah, we weren't any better than Oklahoma State last weekend. Let's put it that way. But and we've asked Robert. We've got a pick segment, so we are going to keep it short here on this segment. But, Robert, let's talk about the Cowboys, and this is not one of the questions, I don't believe. But, you know, you've had a couple of tough losses. Last year we were up and we were down. We were up and we were down. Is this team, they have the ability, not have the ability, we know they have the ability. Will they right the ship and start steadying things here on out, or is this kind of the year we're looking at?
It may be the year you're looking at, and for a couple of reasons. I hate it because you've got premier playmakers in Chuba and Tylen, and they may not be here next year. Both of them will have a chance to make the decision to go to the NFL, and you know, hey, that is what it is. And I tell you what, I want to see guys do well. So if they can go get drafted high in the NFL draft, I got no problem with that. By the way, best wishes to Mason Rudolph. That was he has gone to the pros. He has done well. He is the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and quite frankly, I think he was on his way and may still, when he comes back, be on his way to sending Ben Roethlisberger to the retirement home. I know those are strong words, but I think Mason was playing really well. You talk about a brave soul. He stood in there and got that ball to Washington, and he took a big-time hit from Earl Thomas, former Texas player, there on the chin. So knocked out completely, but I think Mason, I think he'll be okay, but it was a scary situation. But what I was going to say is, in this league, you've got those two playmakers, but you've got a freshman quarterback that's still learning. Now, I don't know. I don't think he said this to the main media. I think he said it to me only on the radio network, and it's on Go Pokes. But he followed up taking all the account for the 5 turnovers with, I'll tell you this, we're not losing again. Well, that's a Tebow-esque type promise. We're not losing again. I forget what it was Tebow said. We said, we won't. I think he just said pretty much the same thing. We wouldn't lose again during that season at Florida. That's a big, bold promise. I wouldn't hold him to it because I think you're still seeing him grow up. You also are seeing an offensive line that, for the most part on Saturday, had 2 redshirt freshmen playing in it. This is a team that's got a chance to build with some young talent. I'd sure love to have Chuba and Tylen back for another year with a more experienced group, but that's where you have to go out and find those other playmakers. So I think this year in the Big 12, with OSU being in the situation they're in and everybody else in this league in the situation that they are in, and I'm not even excluding Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma is the best team in the league. Do I think they'll go through unscathed? I don't. And I think this is going to be, and we even said this back in the summer. We said it on the first show. This is going to be a beat-em-up league, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we got to get a break. I didn't think Oklahoma could go unscathed, but looking at the rest of the league, I just don't think we're as good anywhere as we thought we were. I think they're going to run the table. Take a break. Ask Robert, coming up next.
Do you take multiple routine prescriptions for medical conditions such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, COPD, asthma, or arthritis? Are you tired of making multiple trips to the pharmacy each month to pick up refills of all your medications? Tiger Drug has a new, easy, convenient, and free synchronized refill program for you. We will work with your insurance so that your meds will all be available on your refill date so that there will be no waiting. Call one of our friendly staff members and ask how you can join the Synchronized Refill Program at 405-372-7900 or stop by at 825 South Walnut. And be sure to ask about our vaccination program. Tiger Drug in Stillwater, where the customer comes first.
If you haven't been to TS Fork at White Barn Estates lately, we have an exciting new concept to tell you about. It's called Thirsty Thursdays, and it includes 4 courses of the same high-quality food as our other nights, and some of the best mixed drinks you've ever had. Best of all, no reservations are required. And while you're there, relax with a drink on our covered patio and check out the gift shop with Made in Oklahoma products. Go to tsfork.com for more details and to check out our upcoming special menus.
A lot of action on the street today, huh, Willie?
Yep. Oh, check out the German V8.
Ooh, 64 dream car.
At Shelter Insurance, we insure all your favorite rides and have since 1946.
Sweet pickup. Hiya, Muggsy.
Yo.
From Hot Wheels to hybrids, we've got you covered.
Hey, mailman.
Love those shoes.
Hey, where you going?
Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Agent Wendell Stevens about Shelter's auto insurance discounts.
Well, I don't know if there's as much exuberance. Oh, yes, there is. Who am I kidding? Ask Robert.
Maybe with you.
Right.
Not as much exuberance. The questions I'm going to get for the most part this week aren't going to be as fun.
Let's see if these are fun.
Yeah,
this is interesting, and they're probably not. Patrick of Stillwater wants to know, or says, I saw more bad body language this week. Is that still an emphasis with this team?
Yeah, it is. I didn't.
We saw Spencer react a bunch. He's still growing up. You said that.
Yeah, and he's one that is very emotional and reactive. But on the sidelines, I look for it. I didn't see a lot of it. Yes, I saw some from Spencer on the field. But you know what? He was the one turning the ball over.
Well, sure.
And I think if you don't show some remorse, then that's unhuman.
Squatting down before you get off the field, I think that's probably part of it. Get off the field, be a leader. And look, he's still learning to be a leader. He's a young guy. You knew this was coming. Phil of Cushing wants to know, will Drew Brown get a chance?
We thought he might get a chance in the game on Saturday. He warmed up in the second quarter, mid-second quarter. Here's the problem with Drew Brown. You might notice he's like the linebackers. He has a cast on his left hand. Left hand. Has a cast on his left hand. Broke his pinky finger last week. The thing I heard was he was working on his car in the hood.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But it's a big elongated cast to protect his pinky. In practice, he was able to handle all the snaps, but you just wonder because it's not like you can hide it.
Right.
And if you're a defensive player and you got a chance to take a shot at him and there's a pileup or whatever, that is like a beacon.
Yeah, boy, it sure is.
Let's see how your pinky feels.
And guess what? The hand's the one thing you can still hit. So you're right, it's a magnet. Let's see, and finally, John of Stillwater wants to know, did Texas Tech make offensive adjustments after the first couple of possessions, or did OSU just not execute as well on defense for the rest of the game?
Didn't execute as well in that particular series. Came back and did pretty well the rest of the first half. And in the second half, yeah, I think they made some adjustments. I understand they got a pretty good lashing in the Tech locker room that at halftime, Matt Wells spent his time with the offense saying, those guys over there have given you an opportunity to be up 4 or 5 touchdowns, and you've puked it away. So, yeah, I think the offense got a classic Eddie Sutton do-better talk at halftime, even though they were ahead on the scoreboard.
Ask Robert at tv31.net. That's the email to send us your questions, and we could possibly use them on the air. Final break, our pick segment coming up right after this.
Oh.
Ooh.
Frontier Lanes is Stillwater's favorite family entertainment destination. Open 7 days a week, Ernie and the crew offer 16 lanes of bowling, but that's just where the fun begins. Knock down the pins to the sounds of your favorite tunes with our jukebox. The game room features pinball, pool, and exciting arcade games. And with a full snack bar, you can satisfy your thirst and get some of the best burgers and fries in town. Frontier Lanes near Airport Road at 3524 North Washington. Call 372-8584 and be sure to ask them about booking your child's next birthday party.
The Hideaway since 1957. The Hideaway is famous for a lot of things, including their off-the-charts fried mushrooms, incredible service, unbeatable lunch specials, and, of course, the one-of-a-kind pizza. Stillwater's pizza tradition begins and ends here, from the big country to the pizza of the gods. And even the sizes are famous, from the mini personal to the big kahuna. Like us on Facebook for unique offers, lunch or dinner, dine-in, pickup, or delivery. The Hideaway, 230 South Knobloch, or call 372-4777. More than a restaurant, it's a tradition.
Formal Fantasy in the heart of downtown Stillwater provides everything you need for your formal occasion. We have dresses, shoes, and jewelry to make you stand out on your special day. We offer tuxedo and suit rentals right here in Stillwater. Our staff of expert seamstresses will alter your clothing to fit perfectly, saving you from going from store to store to get everything you need for your event. From school dances to weddings, Formal Fantasy at 121 East 9th in downtown Stillwater is your formal store.
Life beyond the gravitational pull of the city requires a can-do attitude. It takes versatility to accomplish all that needs to be done, and enough power to never get in over your head. The Kubota L-Series tractor pulls up its bootstraps, hooks up to its many attachments, and gets the job done right. That's why it's the #1 selling compact tractor in America.
Well, we welcome you back to our pick segment. Robert and I both agree that Alabama.
I'm in prayerful position.
Well, yeah, last week Robert went 2-5. I went 3-4. It was a bad week. I now have 2-game advantage going into the bye week, which is a good place for me to be. Alabama knocked off we both are convinced Alabama will beat A&M, and that Penn State will go on the road and beat Iowa. How about LSU at Florida down in the swamp?
Wow.
Good game, good tough game, good matchup.
I'm going with Ed Orgeron on the road. Big Ed.
I've got Ed Orgeron as well. Last week I said that a lot with the same
go
way.
Tigers.
Oh, we like
go Tigers.
Hey, you think we don't know about the swamp?
We eat some alligator for fun. Us Tigers do, yeah.
Tulsa is hosting Navy. Big opportunity by the wayside for them to knock off SMU last week, and SMU got them in overtime.
Tulsa is hosting Navy.
Navy is coming off a good win, I think, if I remember correctly.
Are you trying to coax me?
No, I'm not trying to coax you either way.
Why don't you
in
go
fact,
first on this
I
one?
tell you what, Tulsa is a half-point favorite if I saw that correctly, and I am taking Tulsa. I went over there like you did, obviously, to watch against the Cowboys. That defense is good, and I think they'll hold Navy in check.
I'm going to take Navy.
All right, Robert trying to regain a game on us here. Oklahoma and Texas.
Do you see where Oklahoma's a 10? You want to pick one against the spread?
Are they a 10-point favorite? Is that what it is?
A 10-point favorite.
Ooh.
I'll take Oklahoma.
I'm taking Oklahoma as well. I'll tell you what, I think I'd take them against the spread as well.
I would not.
Iowa State and
that
West
game
Virginia.
Is not a.
It's typically not,
No.
but I just think I'm just not buying Texas. I cannot buy them. Iowa State, West Virginia.
Take Iowa State. Is that up in West Virginia?
It is. It is in Morgantown. You and I
go
both go there.
Morgantown.
And last but not least, I thought this was probably, obviously the OU Texas game is a huge game, but the Texas Tech team headed to Waco, Texas. That was a really good win for Texas Tech. Played extremely well. Baylor continues to win, though. Who do you like in this one?
I'm taking Texas Tech.
Ooh, you cheat. You flipped. You flipped on me. You said you already taken the boys down in Waco. But that's all right. I will let you take Texas. When we were talking earlier, you said, yeah, I'm going to take my boys down in Waco.
No.
That's what you said.
I
that's
don't
okay.
think so, but those aren't my boys. I was born there, but they aren't my boys. Who'd you take, Baylor?
I am taking Baylor. That's what the key point is. So we may be tied after the weekend. I may still be up 2, or maybe a 1-game differential. Who knows? It'll be interesting.
You may be up 4.
I could be up 4. That's exactly right. I like the way you think. I like your math. Hey, that's going to do it for us. We will see you guys next week as the Cowboys, of course, getting ready for who's the next one?
Next one's Baylor.
Homecoming. Yeah, homecoming coming up. We'll
Probably
be
would be
about that
better
next
if Baylor won and came in here 6-0 and OSU beat them.
Be good for us.
Yeah, it'd be good.
We keep trading out that bottom spot, top 25. Kansas State was in there in the bottom of the top 25. We were
Iowa
in the bottom.
State was in there at one point to begin with.
And now Baylor's in there. But we've
all
all
4
traded.
teams have been in there.
Yeah, time for somebody to take a hold of it until the Cowboys knock off Baylor. Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy your football. Enjoy your bye week. For Robert Allen, I'm Casey Kendrick. See you next time on the College Football Preview Show.